out and made a statement regarding the split of her and Shyann. And now Shyann has came out and made a statement, and she revealed that she's the one that decided to call things off between her and Jessica. So this is what she had to say. She said, "This right here speaks for itself. I love Jessie, and I truly wish things could have turned out differently. Not every day was bad, obviously. If it had been, we never would have spent 4 years together or tried so hard to work through everything. We both made mistakes and we both fought for the relationship, but there are some behaviors and situations that eventually became too much for anyone to carry." I'm sure what happened with Josh played a big part in damaging the relationship or marriage that they did have. And she went on to say, "No one should be expected to continually accept things that damage their peace, their trust, or their well-being. Maybe Jessie is stronger than I am in that department, and maybe she was more accustomed to certain things because of how she grew up. I don't know. What I do know is that we will never stop being there for each other, and I'll always want the best for her. At some point, though, you have to accept that love alone isn't enough to overcome everything. I have no desire to argue, attack anyone, or go back and forth on social media. The truth is, it is what it is, and those who lived it know what really happened." And Jessica was in the comments, and she said, "I love you, and I wish nothing but the best for you." Then Shyann made another post, and she said, "Since it's already out there and so many of y'all have been asking, yes, I left and I asked Jessie for a divorce. There's nothing bad to say about Jessie at all. It just became too much for me, and that's okay. And trust me, I know what some of y'all say because y'all remind me all the time that I was only in it for the money. If anyone can tell me where this money is, please let me know. But yes, we're no longer together, and yes, things that happened and were said on social media played a big role in our decision. At the end of the day, though, we are both okay, we get along fine, and there's no hate between us. We realize we're better off as friends, and that's what's best for us. More importantly, it's what's best for Harper. Growing up in the public eye isn't what I want for her. I want her to have a real childhood away from all the negativity and mean comments that come with social media." And then Jessica responded and she said, "I have nothing to ever say bad about you, Shyann. You know you're true. Just always remember that, and don't let these comments ever get to you, because we'll always know the truth. For everyone else, like she said, we're both okay, we're friends, and there's no hate between us, so y'all just calm down with the comments." And I'm going to be honest, this is just my opinion. I'm just making pure assumptions. I'm sure that Shyann probably thought the whole idea of being on TV was glamorous. I'm not saying that's the whole reason she got with Jessica, but she probably thought, oh, being on TV is going to be fun. I can get some money. They'll pay for my wedding. They'll pay for us to go on vacation. They'll pay for us to go out to eat. And it sounds all good. And everyone goes on these shows thinking it's going to be all positivity, but they're not ready for all the negativity that comes along with it. A lot of these people go on these shows thinking that everyone's just going to have good, positive things to say about them. But once it came out that Shyann and Jessica did this threesome with Josh, a lot of people started looking at the situation differently and had a lot of negative criticism to say about it. And I'm sure that was too much for Shyann to handle. And when people get on these shows, I think a lot of people don't expect the level of criticism that they will get. And I think that was probably too much for Shyann, including dealing with what her family had to go through. Okay, guys, now I have a few videos I want to react to. There's a video from June pretty much responding to Trina when Trina kind of said one of the reasons why things didn't work out between Shyann and Jessica was because June was never really accepting of Shyann from the beginning. I'm sure that was hard for Shyann, but I think June kind of had her reasons, and she explained why in this video. And then there's this girl who is spilling some tea on the situation. She claims she's got some tea. This is Melody Unfiltered _ on TikTok. Shout out to her. So she said, "Tea alert, Jessica and Shyann from Mama June broke up, but this is why." So let's see what she had to say.
So I'm sure we all know that Shyann and Jessica from Mama June are no longer dating, but I just found out why. They all had like a threesome. Well, I also found out that Jessica is the one that wanted it to happen the most. She's the one that pulled for it. She's the one that said, hey, let's do that. We know he can have kids. Closest in the family, let's do it. Closest in the family is crazy. So after everyone formed their opinions on that episode and everyone has formed their opinion on their relationship and stuff, there's been a lot of, stuff come out. And Cheyenne felt like Jessica manipulated her into doing it. She said that the reason that they broke up is because Jessica coerced her into doing it. She thought that it was for them to have a baby. But no, in reality, it was because Jessica liked Josh and Josh liked Jessica, which is so clear because no lesbian is going to let some man lick on her nipples. But who knows? Maybe since Cheyenne's out of the picture, maybe there will be more seasons. But I will say, I feel like Pumpkin should just completely drop Jessica, and so should the show. And now we all know why Mama June did not want to pay for that wedding. She's known all along. But yeah, that's the deal.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. I didn't think about that. But yeah, I'm sure that Cheyenne and Jessica, I think Cheyenne probably didn't fully think things through when she agreed to it. And then sometimes when you get negative criticism, people take it as bullying. But some people actually listen and they're like, you know what? Let me take a step back and try to see where they're coming from. And I think that's what Cheyenne did in this case. And once she started hearing the fact that the majority of the people were not agreeing with what Jessica and Cheyenne decided to do, sleeping with Josh, I think she started seeing things differently. And she's like, damn, why did Jessica talk me into that? And started feeling some type of way. Because it seemed like everything was mostly good up until the season premiere, or up until the season finale aired, where that came out. Clock and Tea with Crystal, the Mama June Family Tea page, Salty Tequila. They're both TikTok pages I really enjoy. They usually have a lot of good clips of Mama June's lives. But they shared 3 clips from Mama June, so let's see what she had to say.
I mean, if your child was in a relationship, are you the problem? Are you the thing? There was never, Jessica never really came to any of us about the problems with Jessica and Cheyenne. Never. Well, my money is my money, and also Jessica's money is my money. And we did feel for a little while when they got together, just like I have with Darren, just like I have with anybody else, that people may not have been here for the right reasons. Ever was going to say.
At least she finally admitted. A lot of people have been thinking that Darren hasn't been here for the right reasons. And Mama June admitted she felt the same way that a lot of other people felt about Darren. At first,
we did feel for a little while when they got together, just like I have with Darren, just like I have with anybody else, that people may not have been here for the right reasons. Never was going to say anything about Jessica and Cheyenne splitting. Nothing. Until that little grab was in there. It's fine. Tell your story. Tell us that Cheyenne's adopted. Tell them that Harper's Cheyenne's sister's kid. All the 3 kids. Fine. But they all took care of. Who, if they're blood or not. But Cheyenne finally said what she needed to say because her blood family was downing her. Okay?
I didn't know that. So it sounds like her blood family was either downing her behind the scenes or on social media for her decision. And I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure Cheyenne thought being on the show was going to be all fun and games, but they probably didn't think this threesome was going to get exposed. And then once her blood family found out about this threesome, I'm sure they didn't like the reactions. And I'm sure that had a big role in why she didn't want to be with Jessica or do the show. And Jessica and June and Pumpkin, they're all signed in on 6-year contracts. I'm not sure how much longer they have their contract. I think it's about done, though. I think that 6-year contract's almost done and they're up for another renewal soon, because I know Josh's contract's up and he says he's not coming back, or his girlfriend said he's not coming back for another season.
Cheyenne finally said what she needed to say because her blood family was downing her. Okay? But I allowed Jessica, but I think that Jessica was so protective over that relationship because it was the first relationship that she came out saying that she loved females. I don't give a Pumpkin came out at 12 years old, but don't blame me. I do. We as a family think there is more to the story than what was told to us by Jessica, that me and Pumpkin was the cause of this relationship not working out. No. And that I wasn't supportive in that relationship. Well, bitch, how can I be supportive when nobody don't come around? When you beg people, I stopped begging. I stopped begging for Shyann to come around to Sunday dinners, even though it was a little bit awkward. But bitch, you made it awkward. Y'all made it awkward 2 years ago. When Pumpkin didn't find out for 4 months about Josh and them. No, nobody knew about it for months. And the only reason.
You know, I don't agree with everything June says, but I agree with everything she's saying in this video. I don't blame June for feeling that way about Shyann, because if you're going to be coming in my family, I know, like, if I'm dating someone, or especially if I'm going to be getting married to someone, I want to meet their family. I want to hang around their family. I want to go visit them on holidays. I want to get to know their family, have a relationship with their family. And it seems like Shyann never really had no interest in doing that. So it makes you question, was she really in it for the long term?
I mean, beg people. I stopped begging. How can I be supportive when nobody around? When you beg people, I stopped begging. I stopped begging for Shyann to come around to Sunday dinners, even though it was a little bit awkward. But bitch, you made it awkward. Y'all made it awkward 2 years ago. When Pumpkin didn't find out for 4 months about Josh and. No, nobody knew about it for months. And the only reason Pumpkin found out about it is because Draco and Josh had a falling out.
Remember when we read those messages? What was it? Who leaked those messages? I'm trying to remember, but the messages got out from a friend, and they're like, hey, Josh wants to say I'm a bad friend, but this whole time I've been keeping this big secret for him. So how am I a bad friend when I've been keeping his secrets? That was Draco. I had no idea it was Draco that he had the falling out with, which is, I think, Draylen's cousin or Draylen's friend that Alana and Draylen were living with, like, since Alana was 15. And I think Draco's still living with Draylen at this time, but I'm not 100% sure.
Today, sitting here 2.5 years later, they would not have knew anything. 2 years later, they wouldn't know. She wouldn't know anything. Just being honest. But don't tell me that I wasn't supportive in a relationship. I might not have agreed with some stuff in the relationship. I may not have. I wanted, but to get to know somebody, guys, is for somebody to come around, to make an effort, to make this. Because I would say something. I was like, well, y'all would come to Katrina's house, but y'all wouldn't come to my house. Or we lived around the corner. When I lived in Ivy, I lived on 243. They lived the next street over from my road. They lived literally kind of behind my house. Well, not behind my house, but a couple rows behind my house. And still, nothing. Jessica made an effort to come here. Jessica made an effort to have a thing with her family. Is our family perfect? Fuck no. Whose family is? There's things that I'm not going to talk about on this live that, no, Cheyenne's not perfect. Trina's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect, y'all. But I'm telling the truth, and I wouldn't have said a damn thing about this separation, but they're being cordial about it, which they are. And I hope that they continue to be cordial. I still will never down. If Harper's around me, I would never down Shyann. I would never down Trina. That's just not what I do. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. But as a family, we have known this for a while. We knew. We kept asking Jessica, is everything okay? Is everything fine? She would go to Pumpkin's house. She would sit there. She would be quiet. Normally we're all nosy. I'm not going to lie to you. We nosy Nancy's, okay? Okay. She would not go over there and be nosy. She would just act like she wanted to say something, but she never would say anything. And now, you know what I hope happens? And this is my hope. And I told Jessica this. Told Jessica this 2 days ago. Told Jessica this yesterday. I hope that with all of this, now they can work things out. Because before, Pumpkin tried to have a sit-down conversation with Jessica and Shyann, but it would not happen because nobody wanted to take accountability. And I know, as a mother, Jessica is very, very sorry for what happened. Now, I can't say what Shyann feels. I can't say what Josh feels. But as a mother, I think that Jessica is very remorseful that she allowed that to happen. But what we know of her, there's some dislikes of Shyann. But I'm sure there's some dislikes that she don't like about me. But just because you allow somebody to come to your house and you this or...
I'll make a point. Maybe Jessica got tired of Shyann and her mom Trina talking trash about June. That's true. It seems like they mostly had nothing but negative things to say about June. And I mean, I'm sure the show paid for the wedding, but June acted like she did. I'm sure June contributed something to their wedding.
That I don't know if Jessica went over to Trina's house and talked shit about me and the family. I don't know. And that's maybe what, but that's my thing. I don't know. But I know they were over there almost every day. Am I jealous? Fuck no. Fuck no. My kids are grown. Life out there. You didn't want people in your life. You didn't want life out there. Ken and Josh not working out. Y'all were on. If you chose not to be on the show, you didn't want life out there. You didn't want people in your life. You didn't want people digging. You didn't want people from your past coming forward. You should have never said, I want to film. I want to put. You had that option to say no. Everybody has that option to say no when it comes to this show. As me, Pumpkin, Jessica, Alana, we have a 6-year contract. And we have to do the show. But just like Pumpkin and Josh, I told Jessica, if you chose to talk about this, you can put what you want on TV. Everything that happened between Josh and Pumpkin wasn't put on the screen.
I don't think we see a lot of the real family drama or relationship or marriage drama actually come to the screens. I think they cherry pick on and pick like the most minimal, smallest problems that aren't going to make them look bad and bring it on TV. But I think all the big things, they keep off TV, which I don't blame them. I would probably do the same thing if I was on TV.
And Pumpkin never did come to social media. No, never. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing, guys. But for me, being honest, you're not going to sit here and talk about my shit. You're not going to sit here and say that my family wasn't supportive of your fucking relationship. And that's the reason why y'all didn't work out, because Jessica wouldn't stand up to me or Pumpkin or wouldn't talk about it. But anyway, but what we know of her, there's some dislikes of Shyann. But I'm sure there's some dislikes she don't like.
But that's all we have for now, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching.